Wole Olanipekun, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has said that Nigeria has reached a point where almost everyone is shouting marginalization. When Jonathan was in office, the North complained of marginalization. When Buhari took over, did we Yoruba North cry from the rooftops about being sidelined? Now that Tinubu is in power, the North, barely 2 years into his tenure, is crying foul and plotting for 2027. Is this how we want to continue? The big question is, when Tinubu leaves, what becomes of the Yoruba? Then we too will start shouting marginalization. That was Wole Olanipekun. Wole Olanipekun is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He doesn't need much introduction. If you are one of the lawyers of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who have been defending his mandate, so-called. Here, he was speaking about ethnic agitation in Nigeria and calling for the jettisoning of the 1999 Constitution. He spoke at the Punch Forum that was held in Lagos. The title of his presentation was The Imperatives of Restructuring Nigeria. So he was talking about that every time a president emerges, people from another section will cry of marginalization. So he was saying that there is a solution to this problem, that solution is to change the constitution, to generally jettison the constitution and produce a constitution that is by the Nigerian people. Of course, you and I know that the 1999 constitution was a creation of the military. There was never any place where Nigerian people were asked for their views, even though the constitution began by saying we the people. You all I know that we were never involved. It was just the military people gathering some lawyers and pay them to write that constitution and copy what they could from the 1979 constitution and package it together and hand it down as the 1999 constitution. So he was talking about the fact that we need to have a constitution that will make the presidency not to be something that every ethnic group will be fighting over. Okay, I don't know what he was driving at, whether he wants us to go back to the 1963 constitution where the presidency, the center was weak and the regions were stronger, or what. But he was in this country when Deputy Senate President, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Carl, presented an amendment to the Constitution that would have solved this problem of the presidency, so that we have it in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria be rotated across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, so that every zone will know that it's not being disadvantaged in any way in producing the president of Nigeria. Did he say anything about it? He didn't say anything to condemn those who shut down that bill, because that bill would have solved a lot of problems. The idea that one section of the country or 2 sections of the country will continue to be producing the presidency in perpetuity, literally, is unacceptable. The idea that the rotation of the positions in this country should be left to the political parties to determine where the president comes from, and we are told that parties zone, it is left for the parties to zone their presidency where they want, is unacceptable. If truly we want one Nigeria, But from all indication, we don't really want one Nigeria. Those who are benefiting from this very, very skewed system, they shut it down at National Assembly. That is not, it's unimportant. But they think they are wiser than Dr. Alex Ekwueme, who presented it as a minority report during the Constitutional Conference that was set up by General Abacha. They know the importance of that. That was why even Abacha incorporated the 6 geopolitical zone. Today we are still using the 6 geopolitical zone. It is based on the 6 geopolitical zone that was the brainchild of Alex Ekwueme, former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is why today you have the Northeast Development Commission, you have the Southeast Development. All these things without Ekwueme wouldn't have been possible. But the main thing that Ekwueme wanted was a situation where you have rotation of the president across the 6 geopolitical zone in line with the federal character of the country, so that no part of the country will have monopoly of producing presidential leadership. And he created the office of 6 vice presidents to take care of a situation where a president, if he dies, you don't have to put another person from another zone to take over. The vice president from that zone will take over. Imagine if we had 6 vice presidents and Yaradua died in 2010, before the end of his tenure. There wouldn't have been acrimony about where the vice president, who should take over. Automatically, the vice president from Northwest will take over to complete the tenure of Yaradua, and then continue from there until the zone complete their tenure. That was how Ekwueme brought out solution to giving every part of Nigeria. But look at the people that shut it down. Some of them are even minorities, that they will never stand a chance of producing president. They sided with those who have been producing presidents and say no, that is dead on arrival, that the office of the president it should be based on merit. As if you don't have people with merit in all the 6 geopolitical zones. And I have argued this. There is no zone in this country that doesn't have somebody that has capacity to be president of Nigeria. If you look at the abysmal performance of Buhari, of Tinubu, of all of them. So if they can be president and perform this abysmally, are you telling me that in Southwest, Tinubu is the most brilliant, is the best? Let us assume, without conceding, that if Yoruba is to break away from Nigeria today, do you think they will elect somebody like Tinubu to be their president? If the Arewa is to break away from Nigeria today, do you think they will elect somebody like Buhari to be their president? Let us be truthful to ourselves. Why is it that all those so-called merits, they say, let us allow merit? What is meritorious in the administration of Buhari? What merit did he bring on the table that the president should be based on merit? Or what merit did Buhari brought on the table? What merit did Tinubu brought in 2023? And what is meritorious about his emergence? That is my turn. So what is so meritorious about that? From the way he has run this country, is there anything to recommend him? If Nigeria is a company and you are the owner, will you allow Tinubu to be your managing director? will you allow him to run your company? And you have all the record. You are the owner of Nigeria. You are the owner of Nigeria. You are looking for who will manage your company, Nigeria. Of course, don't forget that Nigeria itself is a creation of enterprise by the British companies. Imagine that you are looking for who will help you to run Nigeria as a corporation. And you have information about Tinubu, what he has done in Chicago, what his certificates, the issue of his certificate. He passed out from a secondary school that never existed. Here, the primary school that is in dispute and everything. And you own a company. Will you recruit Tinubu to be your managing director to manage your company for you? If you are sincere with ourselves. So what is so meritorious about this idea that it must be based on merit? Because when you say the presidency must be based on merit, it means that those who are occupying it now, they merited it. But factually, the fact remains that there is no part of this country that cannot produce a good president, a person of integrity, a person that will manage the affairs of this country well. This country is blessed, and there is no part of this country that cannot even be a country of their own. That is a fact. So, saying that it should be based on merit, but after every election, people from a certain section of the country will continue to be producing the president. That is not fairness. That will continue to create crisis. That will continue to create agitation. That is what Wole Olanipekun is talking about. But the way they are going about it is a problem. When the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Khan, brought up that matter, a whole lot of people from Southwest shut it down. For what purpose did they shut it down? They know how they struggle even for Obasanjo to become president. Obasanjo became president only as a compensation because they never wanted, those with entrenched interest never wanted Abiola to be president. And there was problem. That was how Obasanjo emerged. Even if you look at the last election, the 2023, in the APC, despite the fact that Buhari has done 8 years, he refused to back Tinubu. He was ready to support the Senate President Ahmad Lawan, so that after 8 years of a northern presidency, another northern will continue. Tinubu fought them and eventually prevailed. But that is not how to run a country. Everybody don't have to be fighting like Tinubu, coming from the background of Tinubu and all that. The presidency of a country needs to be in a position whereby every part of the country must have access to it. So Wole Olanipekun should do his best to reach out to his fellow Southwest lawmakers so that they should support the democratization of the presidency in line with the 6 geopolitical zones rotation of the presidency. Even if it means that 6 years single tenure, no more second term for any president is fair. 6 years single tenure, but it must rotate across the 6 geopolitical zones. They ought to back it, but they didn't. That was how that bill went dead. And now he's complaining because he's scared that Tinubu may be a one-term president, and he's worried what will become the fate of the Yoruba after Tinubu. But we keep saying it, that like Doro Akunyele used to say, is, you know, people, society does not develop until you get men who plant trees, that they know that they will never be opportune to stand, to take shade under it. That's when you know a society that is ready for growth. All people think about is their personal interest. Wole Olanipekun is among those who helped to put Tinubu there after the election. through the courts. But he's also not still worried because the North and others, the North in particular, want to make Tinubu a one-term president. Now he remembers that it's only a matter of time. 4 years will soon pass. All these ethnocentric appointments and all that will come to an end. And he wants now a review of the Constitution or even the jettisoning of the Constitution. But we have been saying it, that the solution to Nigeria's problem is the monopolization of power by from few sections of the country in violation of the federal character principle. If you can have federal character principle in everything, why can't you have it in the presidency? Why do you have to leave it in the hands of political parties instead of putting it there in the Constitution that the presidency must rotate across the 6 geopolitical zones, 6 years single term for each geopolitical zone? That is something that Nigerians should think about. That is something that Wole Olanipekun should think about and work for, and not telling us any other stories. If he's working on this perspective, it would have made more sense than calling for the throwing away of the Constitution totally, jettisoning of the Constitution. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense. That's an opportunity. Let us even try this first and see if it doesn't work before you talk about jettisoning the Constitution. But whatever is your position about Wole Olanipekun saying that right now in Nigeria everybody is crying of marginalization and that the time has come to jettison the 1999 Constitution to make the presidency something that everybody will not be fighting over. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.